So if you're looking for an options trading coach, you might be wondering, well, what should I expect on the first session or the first meetup? Like, how does this all work? And how does that beginning stage work? Okay, so the thing is that if you're looking for an options trading coach, you probably are recognizing there's some issue or problem or thing you need to overcome. And that's kind of the goal and role of the coach or mentor, is that they help you overcome those obstacles. And I'm going to share with you some spotlight here as far as the way I do things versus maybe things to watch out for if you're calling around and looking for different places as well. So when I do things, there's a couple of different things that happen. It really will depend on the session type that you're looking for. If you're looking for like a single session, what often happens is that, the first, call it 5 to 10 minutes, we kind of go in and just chat about where you're at, what you're doing. I might ask you to put on, show me one of the trades you've done or a couple of the trades you've done, and we kind of look at the screen. Also looking at, hey, what are the things you want to cover throughout this session? What would make it a success? And then the rest of the session, we kind of cover those things. Majority of it is then, either content, either showing you things or going over things in your account, breaking things down step by step. And the last couple of minutes is just kind of like, call it a wrap up and so forth. So that's kind of the way a single session will go. If you're doing things more like a 30-day coaching, it works a little bit different. Typically, what's going to happen is, anyway, before people usually book a 30-day coaching thing or longer, it could be 60-day, could be a 6 months that I'm working with them, or a year. Oftentimes, I do a quick little chat with them anyway. So this could be a quick 20-minute discussion or phone call at the beginning. So already I kind of know you, like where are you, what the issues are, what trades have you done, where are you in your educational journey, that kind of thing. After that, we might schedule a date or time at some point in the future to kind of meet up and get started. Okay, so this might be, it could be 2 weeks from when we talked. It could be 2 months from when we talked. It really depends how busy I am. So depending on the schedule there, depending on your schedule, we might say, okay, well, let's look for a start date. Okay, now on our start date, okay, I would say this would be our first session. Okay, now on that start date, if we're looking for like a 90-day program, okay, and 90-day coaching, that start date is really our first session. And that's the way I look at it, is our first session. Now, during that first session, because I like to do things more, call it intimate or private, a little before that, what's going to happen is you might have gotten some administrative things that came into play, like where you'll download your files. Maybe make sure and check your technical things, like you might have had to sign up for a brokerage platform, that kind of thing. So it really will vary person to person, but all of those things kind of are handled around that time frame. The other thing is that usually on that first session, what happens is that we're often going in and we're doing a few administrative things. Okay, so I call it a few admin things. I'd say about maybe 30% admin things. And then 70% of it is actually placing a trade and getting some positions going. Because what I like to do is already have some positions working, because they have to kind of cook and marinate, you could say, and get them going. That way we have a few trades set up, because I like to teach through examples. And the more scenarios that you see, you get to see, hey, that trade was a winner, that was a loser, that was a winner, that was a scratch trade, and nothing happened. So from every example, you kind of will learn something. And the sooner we put those trades on, and the more exercises you do, the better off you'll be, because this also transforms your habit or habits. And that's what we kind of do in the first session. So that's ideally the goal. Now, in our second session, as we go into session number 2, we kind of wrap up some of that administrative stuff. It could be taking care of the final payments, or maybe signing some final paperwork, and just making sure everything's set up accordingly. And then we go in and this might be only 10% of the session. And then the rest of it is we go back to doing our examples, our trades, and now reviewing them, and that kind of thing. So then from then on forward, we're really honing in and focusing more along the lines of getting you to progress and move forward rather than the administrative stuff. So that's kind of what to expect in the first session as far as how things move a little before the session to the first session. I'll say usually in the first session, depending on the program that you choose, oftentimes that first session that you do, especially in the covered calls program, I usually have people look at how do they place a trade. I ask them to place a trade, buy 100 shares of stock, and see how they do it. And the way that they buy and allocate those 100 shares shows me, are they comfortable with the mouse? Are they comfortable with the platform? How do they spread money or risk? How do they deal with those positions? How do they execute that? And it really shows me a lot. So oftentimes I will go through this exercise a few times, and you might say it's pretty basic, but we then take it to an extreme level. Some people, they do struggle with the platform. Other people, it's pretty quick and easy, and then we move on to kind of the next thing. So that's usually kind of the first session. It's not too bad, not too crazy, but it does allow us to kind of set a little bit of, call it a foundation to moving forward. It also allows me to feel out how quick you digest information, pick up information. Am I going too fast, too slow? Do I need to slow things down? Do I need to speed things up? And we kind of build a little bit of a rhythm there in that first session. So that way, as we keep moving forward 30, 60, 90 days from now, we're able to kind of, go on cruise control and kind of find a good pace for our personal needs together. All right. So hope that helps. Gives you a little insight on what to expect on your first coaching session, at least from the things and the way that I do things. If you're working with somebody else or you're like shopping around with other people, it might be a good question to ask as far as like what happens in the first session or the second session. How does that all work? And, how do you kind of progress forward? But that is typically the way that I approach things, is that we try to do a little bit of administrative things, maybe the first 1 or 2 sessions just to get those things out of the way. But I try not to do like one full session of administrative things, because the goal is to get you to trade, get you to put some trades on and learn from those trades. So we just cover a little bit of administrative things at the beginning, or throughout that session, as a breather or break. And sometimes it takes 3 sessions to get all the admin things done, because I'd rather just do a little bit at a time to get those administrative things out of the way, rather than doing it all at once in one scoop. Because if you're serious, you're signing up already, I'm assuming we'll take care of those admin things, within the first session or 2 anyway. All right. Hope that helps. Appreciate you sticking with me, and I will see you next time.